Hello and welcome back to Behind the Album, a podcast where we talk about a wide variety of artists and their careers. I'm your host, Jake Marks, and in today's episode, we'll be talking about the Black Keys. This is part 2 of a 3-part series. In part 1, we left off at the Black Keys releasing their 2002 debut, The Big Come Up. In this episode, we'll take a look at where they have come since recording that demo in Patrick's basement. At that point, the band had achieved a high indie status, which led to considerable popularity in the Big Come Up. The do-it-yourself approach carried over to their 2003 album, Thick Freakness.
If you wanna go and leave your man, go on.
The recording process for this album was very similar to the Big Come Up. Yes, it was still recorded in Carney's basement, with Carney handling production. Their music received even more popularity after appearing in the movie The School of Rock. So, a few EPs later, the band continued to grow their audience before dropping Rubber Factory in 2004 on Fat Possum Records. Although Carney still carried out production duties, they upgraded their recording space to a deserted studio. After Chulahoma, which was a tribute EP, they released Live in Austin, Texas, which managed to capture the energy of their performances from their 2003 tour. The Black Keys then came out with Magic Potion in 2006 on Nonsuch Records. This moodier album was written and composed completely by themselves. Around the same time, their music was also featured in a variety of movie soundtracks. 2008's Attack and Release was a huge step for the band. It was their first record produced in a legitimate studio and the first to feature the more refined production of Danger Mouse. This album went far beyond their typical guitar and drum setup, as it included lots of bass drum and keyboard, resulting in a fuller sound. Attack and Release featured the blues-influenced I Got Mine and the catchy Strange Times. The next couple of months were spent back on the road. In 2009, members took time away from each other to work on their own solo and side projects. With help from Mark Neal and Danger Mouse, the duo produced most of their 2010 return to blues rock, Brothers. The final product included a Grammy-winning record. Additionally, the twosome reached number 3 in the Billboard 200 and achieved gold status with the song Tighten Up. 2011 was a very busy year for the Black Keys. Aside from playing at several different music festivals, they appeared on Saturday Night Live twice. They also recorded their 7th album in Nashville, Tennessee, El Camino. El Camino was loved by critics and jumped to number 2 on the Billboard 200. It also included their biggest song to that point and possibly to this day, Lonely Boy. The Black Keys started touring again in 2012 in support of El Camino. So with this rough and tough sound and hard-working atmosphere, the Black Keys were able to jump from a duo recording out of a basement to a band who is on every music listener's radar. If you want to learn more about the Black Keys, Make sure you go back and listen to part 1 if you haven't already, and stay tuned for part 3, where we'll talk about where the Black Keys are today. If you want to hear more behind the album, make sure to check out behindthealbum.weebly.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast, and I'll see you guys next time.